Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of my wellness show. My name is Nicole Harris, coming in from beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Let me know where you're coming in from, if you're watching this today or if you're catching the replay. I'd love to know where everyone's watching from. So you guys, a little bit of background about me. I was a personal trainer for almost a decade. I loved working with women. I helped a lot of women reach a lot of different fitness goals, nutrition goals, and just feeling good and motivation to keep going. So that was what I did for a really long time. I ran boot camp classes. I did a lot of one-on-one training, smaller group training, a lot of resistance training, weight training. I had a lot of personal things that I did myself. I ran a really fun Spartan race, lots of different kind of background in the training area. And so 5 years ago, my family decided to relocate. My husband had an opportunity to move to a town for work that was about 4 hours away from where we had lived our whole lives. And so we uprooted and we moved to the interior of British Columbia, where we are now. And a lot of stuff changed. So this was in 2019. So as we were getting ready and I was considering reopening a business here for fitness, 2020 happened. So you can imagine it kind of threw a wrench into my plan. And so I pivoted hard and I went into full-time into something that I had kind of just been doing on the side. It's a health and wellness business. I love it. It's products that my whole family uses. We love. And so long story short, I'm still doing that full-time 5 years later. It's been an amazing gift for our family. But in the last 5 years, a lot of life has happened. Some injuries have happened. A lot of stuff just kind of snowballed into me not taking care of myself very well. I gained over 20 pounds in the last 5 years, and my neck, hip, whole bunch of stuff happened. So anyways, you guys, I am on a road to feeling amazing like I did 5 years ago. And I am on a mission right now to share with as many people as I can that just because we're in our 40s, mid 40s doesn't mean we have to just kind of roll over and let it all happen. I am dealing with all of these issues that I have right now, and it's going so well. And back in mid-February of this year, I decided to make a huge pivot in the area of my nutrition again. It was kind of the one area I wasn't focusing on. And it was crazy because when I made that decision, my inflammation was drastically reduced. All of a sudden, my discomfort that I'd been feeling, in my hip joint and my neck, it was just getting so much better, so much faster. And so there is such a big factor when it comes to nutrition and what the right kind of fuel does for our body in general, not just in fat loss, which is a huge perk as well. If you're on a journey for that, totally get it. But for me, in the last 8 weeks, it was 8 weeks on Sunday, yesterday, I am down 14 pounds, which I'm just so thrilled. Not only do my clothes fit better, but my inflammation is way down. My stomach is way happier, all the things. So life is good again. And I'm here to share with you what's working. Because sometimes it can just be really hard to get started and then, to continue to come up with ideas moving forward to keep it interesting, right? It's really easy to get bored when you're on a fitness or nutrition or fat loss journey of any kind. And then sometimes all it takes is one fun weekend and you're just like, whatever, right? And you just kind of fall off. So the biggest thing for me with all of this has been keeping my focus on adding more protein to my diet. I am aiming for a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day, and that's on a low day. But the majority of the time, my protein goal is 135 grams of protein. Okay, that is my goal weight right now. I am getting close. We're almost back to where we feel good. Definitely want to put some muscle back on, and protein's really going to help with that too. So as we get older, and our muscle growth slows down and our ability to retain muscle goes down, it's so important to be feeding your body properly in a way that's going to help you keep that muscle mass that you have and allow you to grow and just kind of stay in a healthy range, right? So important. So for me, I was going to share today what's working really, really well. And it's 7 ways that I have personally added, and I encourage you to, if you struggle in the protein area, these 7 tips are hugely helpful. So number 1 is to start off your day with a high protein breakfast. If you can hit it right out of the gate, you are so much more likely to keep going. You're fueling your body in a way that feels good, that's going to curb cravings throughout the day. Some really good ideas for high protein breakfasts, egg white omelets. You can even add an actual egg in there. I buy the carton egg whites. A lot of people I know just kind of crack them and separate. I would leave one yolk in there for a little bit of fat if you like the flavor better too. Yolks are great, but egg or egg white omelets, awesome. Protein oatmeal, that means taking a scoop of your protein powder, mixing it into your cooked oatmeal, and then adding whatever your toppings are, but just remember to keep it, in a healthy, like I love to use berries. Sometimes I'll slice a little bit of banana on there. I have a really great Trebiotic, which is a pre, pro, and postbiotic in one, a beadlet. It's tasteless, but it adds some crunch, which I love. So I'll sprinkle some of that on there. Walnuts are great. What else? A little bit of almond milk or whatever milk, like low fat milk of your choice is. Berries, I think I already said that. There's hemp hearts, like anything like that that's going to add the protein, add the nutrition without adding a lot of extra calories to your, because it's so easy to like calorie bomb your oatmeal. So just keep it healthy, keep it light, and it's a great option. And then Greek yogurt is another really good one that you can, with the oatmeal, you can add whatever you like. You can do berries, you can do any type of fruit that you enjoy. You can do the Trebiotic that I talked about. You can do nuts, you can do whatever you like on your oatmeal. Another really great one is protein pancakes. I love protein pancakes, and my kids love protein pancakes. So sometimes on a Sunday, I'll make a big batch and then we can eat them throughout the week. They reheat really great in my toaster oven, a little bit crispier, which is awesome, but they're still soft on the inside. So if you like protein pancakes, we sometimes do Kodiak cake. Sometimes I'll do like a cottage cheese pancake or a homemade version here. And then the next one is snacks. So breakfast, number one, kicking your day off in a way that is super healthy, and it's going to help you curb those cravings throughout the day. But we all love snacks, and we all need to fill in sometimes the blank in between breakfast and lunch, because depending on what you do for a living, that can be a really long stretch of time. So some really great portable options that I have been using. Tuna, super easy. You can flavor it. You can use, excuse me, just salt and pepper. You can do mustard. You can do cottage cheese. There's so many things you can throw in with tuna. Cottage cheese on its own, again, something that's really easy to add fruit or whatever you like to. Greek yogurt, we talked about that for breakfast, but really can be eaten at any point throughout the day. One of my favorite things, and I have made a reel about it, and if you'd like the information, I can share it with you too. Just drop protein yogurt, is I will do a scoop of my whey protein powder, which is usually vanilla or chocolate, and then I'll make it extra chocolatey with a smaller scoop of cocoa powder, and then I'll add a little bit of water to make a paste, just enough to make a paste. You do not want it super runny. And then I will add half a cup of Greek yogurt to that and blend it around. And you can even add like a teaspoon or something of peanut butter to that, and it's delicious. It makes a great snack anytime in the day, or I love it too sometimes when the kids have gone to bed or when we're kind of winding down for the night and I need a snack, but I don't want something that's going to destroy what I did for my day, because we all know it's so easy to go into the cupboard right at night and just kind of, again, calorie bomb the heck out of your plan. So I love my protein Greek yogurt. It's so good, and it's already high protein, but by adding the protein powder, you're easily getting the 20 to 30 grams of protein in that snack alone, which is great. That's a meal size. So by the end of your day, if you're like, oh, I'm still shy of my protein goal, it's the best way to boost it up. Then I love chicken and veggies with hummus. That's another really good, really low calorie, but high protein snack. Homemade protein bars. Again, I have some fabulous recipes. I have chocolate that is like a chocolate cake. I have cinnamon that's delicious. I have that in my fridge right now. I have recipes for lemon. I have recipes for pumpkin and vanilla. Like there's so many different ways you can make protein bars. You can Google recipes, just check the ingredients and make sure. And if you ever struggle with a recipe and you're looking at it being like, oh, that looks like it would be so good, but the ingredients aren't exactly what my goals are, reach out, because I have some great swaps for common recipe ingredients that you might need. And then hard-boiled eggs are a super handy one. You can batch cook those on the weekend, keep them in your fridge. And then of course, good old protein shakes are super easy, because you can just bring the powder with you, bring a shaker cup full of water or milk of choice if you can keep it cold, and then you just mix the two, shake it up and go. So I love that for snacks. Number 3, and this is just a generalization, but this is a goal thing for me, is aiming for 20 to 30 grams of protein with every meal. That is how I stay on track with my protein. Is like I look at the protein of my meal and then I base the rest of it around that. So think of the protein as the heart of your meal, and then you can do your sides accordingly. Yes, Christina, I'll totally send them to you after for sure. There's so many good ones. Actually, they're not mine. It's a website. So I'll send you the website link and you can browse and pull out the ones that work for you. I have a couple of them that are great resources that I love. And yes, absolutely. And actually stay tuned because I have a couple other things coming that are like the best tips I've ever learned for cottage cheese. So it's so good. Okay. Where was I here? Aiming for 20 to 30 grams of protein. Now, this is an easy one for me because I have learned a really great trick. If you're out and about, or if you're having dinner with someone, or if you're out at a restaurant and you want to be like, oh, I want my 20 to 30 grams of protein, but like if you guys go like to a steakhouse or somewhere that has like bigger portions, it's really easy to overdo it, not only in the protein department, but in the calorie department. So you want to go by the palm of your hand. The outer perimeter of your palm is your portion size of protein, okay? Super easy. You always have your hand with you. So if you are ever in doubt about what your protein portion is and you're really trying to stick to your plan, just pull out your hand and measure it that way, okay? Give or take a little bit. It's such a great way to do it. There's a whole hand guide that I can also send if anybody's interested in that. But it's like your veggies is 2 cupped handfuls like this of veggies. That's your portion for that. Fat is usually measured by your thumb, right? Like I could give you guys there's a really pretty visual. So let me know and I'll send it your way. Great to have with you for portability. Then number 4 is adding protein powder to smoothies or oatmeal. I talked about this as a breakfast suggestion, but protein powder is the easiest way to make up protein that you may be lacking. It's so portable. It mixes with everything. You can have it in a shake. You can have it in your breakfast oatmeal. You can mix it with Greek yogurt like I talked about with my delicious protein yogurt recipe. Really anything that is like in a bowl that is like maybe sweeter, not savory because that'd be weird, but you can add protein powder to it. You can add it to baking, right? You can add it to protein balls. You can add it to protein bars like I do. I bake with protein powder all of the time. I have a list of protein powders that I love to bake with, some not so much, right? Some have, kind of not great baking texture or funny aftertaste or whatever. I have narrowed down my 2 or 3 that I love to bake with and I use frequently. Okay, so that's a really good one, is adding protein powder to your smoothies or your oatmeal. Number 5 is getting a little bit creative and out of the box. Like look for new protein-rich foods that maybe you haven't tried before and incorporate them into your diet and see what you think. Any of the above ideas I've given you, if you haven't tried them yet, mix and match, and I have a couple more coming below that are just the easiest ways that you may not have thought of to sneak some more protein in. Because especially for women, I find like not a lot of us love to eat a ton of meat. And when we think about protein, meat is usually the first thing that comes to mind. But there are other ways to get it in. So yes, maybe you'll have your meat with dinner, but we can talk about so many great ideas for breakfast, for lunch, for snacks. That doesn't have to always be meat in your diet. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, there are some great options for you as well. But look for new ones and try them and try combining things and mixing and matching and get to know, reading labels, how much protein is in this versus like some things like, okay, I look at beans, for example. Beans are a great source of protein, but they're also a very high source of carbohydrates. So you want to make sure that, especially if you're following something, that you're not overdoing one or the other, right? So there are some great strategies for this, and just kind of sometimes it's pulling back on one thing, but still including it, and then putting something else there in its place that is more of a rich protein source. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 6, and I have been doing this for a while now, and I love it. But it's swapping your mayonnaise and your sour cream for 0% plain Greek yogurt. It can take a little bit to get used to sometimes for some people, but for me it was easy. It is creamy, it is delicious, it is tart, so it's not like it's gonna be weird in place. Like I mix Greek yogurt with my tuna. I mix Greek yogurt in my protein bowls. I mix Greek yogurt in my smoothies. Like it can be made sweet, it can be made savory. You can add flavorings to it. I know people who love to add, is it Dan's Ranch to it? And it just makes a delicious dip. If you are not a huge Greek yogurt fan, number 7 is my new favorite because I don't know about any of you watching, but I have always had textural issues when it comes to food. So I don't really like cottage cheese. Like I'm not the kind of person that's just going to go, a bowl of cottage cheese, let's go. I can't, it's lumpy and I can't do it. But if you take the lumpy cottage cheese and you put it in your blender or food processor, you can smooth the heck out of it. So it is the creamiest, smoothest texture. So if you're a textural weirdo like me, it's no longer a big deal. And it makes the best dip for vegetables. And you can add anything to it because the flavoring is so basic. You can add like taco seasoning. You could add the Dan's Ranch. That's great. You could add, I mean, if you are somebody who sells maybe the little jars of seasonings, if you know what I'm talking about, you can add really any of those. Jalapeno, like there's so many different, French onion, right? All these different flavors that you would use to make a veggie dip. And then I cut my peppers into like little boats, right? So a thicker strip, and you can load it with the cottage cheese dip and you're just packing in the protein. So such a good healthy snack option. These 7 things, I'll do a quick recap, have been hugely beneficial to me in my, in anti-inflammatory and fat loss journey that I've been on. 14 pounds down in 8 weeks. And I am just, there's no stopping me now because I have my strategies and I feel really good. When you get to the point where you feel really good, you don't want to go backwards. So 7 ways, you guys, that have been working like a charm for me. Making sure my breakfast is packed with protein is number 1 because I'm starting my day off great. Number 2 is choosing high protein snacks throughout my day. I keep a list either in my phone or on my fridge. Sometimes I have them in both places so that if I'm snacky and I'm in my kitchen, I know exactly what I have on hand and I don't have to go rifling through and just grab the quickest and easiest thing. That's another really good tip. I aim for 20 to 30 grams of protein with every meal. And if I'm not home or if I don't have a scale or if I'm not sure about the eyeballing, I use the palm of my hand. Okay, so the outer perimeter of my hand is how I measure my protein. You can add protein powder to smoothies or oatmeal if you need to make up your protein throughout the day. It goes great with Greek yogurt too. Look for new protein-rich foods and keep life interesting. Look for new combinations. Look for new things that you can do to not get bored, okay? And make protein the heart of your meal. Number 6. Swapping mayo and sour cream for 0% plain Greek yogurt. I think there's something crazy like 18 grams and 3/4 of a cup. That was on the nutritionals of the one I have upstairs. And then blending cottage cheese until smooth, combining it with any seasoning you like and adding it to your vegetables, using it as a dip. You can use it with your meats. You can do it with anything, but I freaking love it. It's so tasty. But avocado mixed really well with too. So those are my top tips for getting more protein into your diet and just making it something that you can stick with and enjoy. I hope this helped you guys. Let me know if you want any of the recipes that I talked about today. Just drop it in the comments and I'll send it your way. We'll see you again soon. Thanks so much.